Hello, I have not made a video in quite a while, but that's because real life has been very busy for me and that definitely took priority. So now, as I'm sure you all know, the president-elect for the United States is Donald Trump. He won the Electoral College, though he did lose the popular vote. And the reactions have been very extreme. Some people are thrilled, some people are incredibly upset, and other people are either hopefully optimistic, unfortunately a little bit pessimistic, or they really do not care. I mean, after all, about 50% of the voting population didn't vote this year. But the reason I'm making this video is because I saw the most epic rant I've seen in a long time. It's by a journalist who goes by Jonathan Pye. He's a left-leaning journalist, very liberal. He wanted Hillary to win, though I don't believe he's a U.S. citizen, so he couldn't vote. And he discussed why he is not surprised that Donald Trump won, which is unlike anyone else pretty much. Now, I'm going to play the video for you. It's about 5 minutes long. I would highly recommend watching the whole thing through. It's incredible, and you really need to see the whole thing to understand the points I'm going to make. So, okay, I'm just going to play it right now.
What? I'm not shocked at all, Tim. Tim, I haven't even been into makeup yet, Tim. I'm not shocked at all. I've been saying this for a fucking month. Nearly a year. The moment you think he can't do it is the moment he takes the White House. Of course Trump fucking won. What is everyone so fucking shocked about? Jesus, the media, the political elite, the pollsters, the markets, you, a jaw on the floor. How can everyone be so fucking stupid? Hillary Clinton. What were the Democrats thinking? Hillary Clinton. Don't get me wrong, I wanted Hillary to win. I personally vote for Lucifer over Donald Trump. Trump, the pussy-grabbing, wall-building, climate change-denying, health-care abolishing, tax-dodging, shit-spewing demagogue. How shit have you got to be to lose to that? Where was Sanders? Why wasn't he on the ticket? I have no doubt in my mind that Sanders would have beaten Trump hands down. But instead, they chose Clinton, a candidate who's been cozying up to the banks and dry-humping corporations for years, who is on record telling her corporate friends that you should have a public and a private persona. In other words, don't tell the truth to the plebs or you won't be able to rip them off. She'll do. That was the feeling. What did they think was going to happen? People keep saying to me, how did this happen? They're dumbfounded. But it's so simple. The left did this. This is my fault, people like me. When are we going to learn? The left have given up putting any argument across at all, to the point where Clinton is considered left, liberal. On many issues, Theresa May is less right-wing than Clinton. That's just a fucking fact. And yet my friends are on Facebook saying, I'm with her. I'm fucking not. Oh, but she's better than Trump. Sorry, that's not good enough. Clearly it's not good enough. And if I see, fuck me, one more tweet containing a hashtag Trump wins next to a hashtag everyday sexism, I'm going to drop a fucking bollock. Not everyone that voted for Trump is a sexist or a racist. Some of them are, but most aren't. Most people didn't vote for her, not because she's a woman. They didn't vote for her because she offered no palpable change whatsoever. Same old shit. Trump represents a change, a terrifying change, but a change nonetheless. Hillary represented, well, she represented very little, actually, because she protects corporate interests, because she doesn't call the police when questions from the debate are leaked to her in advance. I noticed we barely reported that. Not everyone that voted for Trump is a sexist or a racist. How many times does the vote not have to go our way before we realise that our argument isn't won by hurling labels and insults? Tory majority, government, Brexit, Trump. What next? When will we learn that the key is discussion? If you are unwilling to discuss, then you are creating the conditions in which Donald Trump and people like him can thrive. But instead of persuading people to vote, she just courted celebrity endorsements and then lost. What's going on? It's almost as if the political acumen of Beyonce and Jay-Z count for nothing. And then she loses it and loses the election, and she locks herself in her hotel because she's too upset, or because it had never occurred to them to even write a concession speech. Either way, grow up. I have no sympathy for her whatsoever. Be a better candidate. But thing is, I can't say that. I can't say this to any of my friends, Tim. People like me. I get fucking lynched if I said this, because people like me won't listen. I did this. This is my fault. Fucking Donald Trump. The left is responsible for this result. Because the left have now decided that any other opinion, any other way of looking at the world is unacceptable. We don't debate anymore because the left won the cultural war. So if you're on the right, you're a freak. You're evil, you're racist, you're stupid, you are a basket of deplorables. How do you think people are going to vote if you talk to them like that? When has anyone ever been persuaded by being insulted or labelled? So now, if you're on the right or even against the prevailing view, you are attacked for raising your opinion. That's why people wait until they're in the voting booth. No one's watching anymore. There's no blame or shame or anything, and you can finally say what you really think, and that is a powerful thing. The Tories in charge, Brexit, and now Trump. And all the polls were wrong. All of them. Because when asked, people can't admit what they think. They can't admit what they think. They're not allowed to. The left don't allow them to. We have made people unable to articulate their position for fear of being shut down. They're embarrassed to say it. Every time someone on the left has said, you mustn't say that, they are contributing to this culture. It's time to stop moaning. It's time to stop crying over spilt fucking Brexit. It's time to stop ignoring your opponents, or worse, trying to silence them. It's time to stop banning people from speaking in universities. It's time to stop thinking that reposting an article on your Facebook feed is political engagement, that banning a gymnast from doing what he's good at because he insulted someone's religion somehow achieved something. And sorry, when did the Gymnast Association start thinking it was appropriate to start enforcing blasphemy laws? It's time to realise that reading The Guardian doesn't make you a liberal, that retweeting Greenpeace doesn't lower your carbon footprint. And if my mansplaining is triggering you, you can either fuck off to your safe space, or you can engage and debate me and tell me what I'm getting wrong. Because Trump just won the White House. Being offended doesn't work anymore. Throwing insults doesn't work anymore. The only thing that works is fucking bothering, doing something. And all you have to do is engage in the debate. Talk to people who think differently to you and persuade them of your argument. It's so easy, and the left have lost the art. Stop thinking that everyone who disagrees with you is evil or racist or sexist or stupid, and talk to them. Persuade them otherwise, because if you don't, I'll tell you what you get. You get President Trump.
Holy shit. Wasn't that incredible? Now, if you follow the same kind of content creators I do, I'm sure this way of thinking is not alien to you. You've seen it before. People all over have been trying to say that throwing insults doesn't work, that calling people racists, sexists, misogynists, any kind of ist or ism just is not the way to win the debate. And it's starting to bleed over into the real world, into elections, into public policy. People are rejecting this intellectual bigotry that is coming primarily from the far left. Or even if not the far left, at least the dogmatic left. Or as I've heard it described, as coined by Majid Nawaz, the regressive left. These are the people who will play into the identity politics that are identical to the identity politics of white supremacists. It's just the who is on top and who is on bottom are reversed. This is incredible to me because this is showing such an extreme level of self-awareness. We need people on the left to start decrying this behavior, to start realizing, hey, if we go insulting everyone, calling them pieces of shit, and splitting the population by making every issue a polarizing one, we will never make progress. And you know what? What's going to happen is every time there's a conflict, especially in the political realm, either one side is going to win and piss off the other, or it's going to be the reverse. In this case, Donald Trump won, and it pissed off the left. It pissed off the people who have spent months creating a caricature of Trump that ended up being so ridiculous as to be completely unreal to somebody who has not been completely saturated in it. They have gone from so long thinking he's such a horrible person that everybody who would even consider voting for him must therefore also be this horrible person, this racist, this woman hater, this homophobe, this transphobe, this xenophobe. It's untrue. I personally did not vote for Donald Trump. I voted for Gary Johnson. I know people who voted for Donald Trump. I know people who voted for Clinton. And guess what? Fucking none of them are racist. None of them are sexist. None of them are homophobic. Quite a few of them belong to fucking minority groups. And nobody seems to get it. So many of the people I'm associated with, people I am proud to call my friends, who I truly care about from the bottom of my heart, have been throwing fucking temper tantrums because Trump won. They're throwing tantrums, blaming people who voted for Trump, blaming people who voted third party, blaming people who voted for Harambe, blaming people who didn't vote, blaming everybody except their own ideals. These were the people who these are my friends, and they've been calling people racists when they are not. They've been calling people sexists when they are not, and it disappoints me to no end. It makes me sad that I'm surrounded by people who just can't get the core fucking concept that discussion is more important than polarization. And it's really heartwarming to see people like Jonathan Pye. They're realizing they fucked up. Now, when people do something wrong, it happens. And the only thing you can do from that is to learn from your mistakes, acknowledge them, move on, and be better in the future. Jonathan Pye, in that rant, he was doing that. He realized that the media, including himself, were too biased, that they were not engaging with the opposition, that they were not trying to understand why people would view the world, would view certain issues differently from them. And it's becoming such a problem with the left. Now, it's unfathomable to me why people will act in such awful, terrible ways toward people that they would otherwise be best friends with. Shit's going pretty crazy. This political election, this presidential election, this whole election cycle, the society has never been crazier in my life, in my father's life, in the lives of anybody I know. They say this is the most turbulence they've ever seen. And I honestly, it scares me sometimes to see where society is headed. I'm wondering, will this intellectual bigotry become the norm? Will people be shouted down, be insulted, be cast out from society, have their jobs targeted, have their social lives targeted, have organizations kick them out simply for disagreeing? Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I mean, it is definitely a positive thing to see people like Jonathan Pye, people like Dave Rubin, people like I don't know. There's been a resurgence of liberals rejecting the regressive left, and I quite frankly think they're our biggest hope for restoring conversation, restoring dialogue, restoring intellectual honesty to the public discourse. Alright, I know that got a little bit ranty. I was stupid and decided not to write a script for this, figuring that if I talked from the heart, it would be more authentic. And I guess it was, but at the same time, it got a little sloppy there. So please let me know what you think about this. This is, I think, such an important topic that we all need to have an opinion on, have a discussion about, and just we need to work through this really fucked up phase of our society. So please, leave a comment. I would love to talk to you, whether you agree, whether you disagree, no matter who you voted for, who you supported, who you didn't, whether you love Donald Trump or you can't stand his fucking guts. I want to hear you. I want to talk to you. I want to move. If I can't move society forward, I would at least like to move us forward as humans, as people who can think for themselves, as people who can accept the differences of others without being shitty about it. So, please comment away, and of course, thanks for watching.
May the force be with you.